Hello, I am Ralph Sinkay. I am the writer and executive producer of Joe Haladin, The Case of the Missing Sister. It has been put up on Tubi TV by Breaking Glass Pictures, and I'd like to give you several reasons why I think it is a film worth watching. The first reason is Samuel French. Now, Samuel died in May of this year. He was 45. He died of cancer. I will tell you that he had the most natural delivery of any actor that I've worked with. And he was constantly honing his character and imparting personality through gestures, expressions, and even quirks. And that's the reason, I think, why he won 9 Best Actor awards for his role in this film. So Samuel is the first reason. The second reason is that it is a very bold and provocative movie. For instance, the antagonist in the film is a minister, Reverend Case Jones. And there are some people that got mad at me. They didn't like it that I made the antagonist, the bad guy, a minister. But my attitude is that if there had never been any bad ministers, if mine was the first, then yes, I think it would have been bad. But considering that in real life there have been very bad ministers, I think it's fair game to do it in a movie. And in this case, the minister was actually named after Reverend Jim Jones. And you know who he was, right? The guy who forced over 900 of his followers to drink Kool-Aid that was laced with cyanide, which was not only deadly, but it caused excruciating pain. It was agonizing. So it doesn't get any more monstrous than that. And Reverend Case Jones, he doesn't do anything nearly as bad as that. But what happens is that he is accused of having done a bad thing some years before. And he denies it vociferously. But even the accusation alone is enough to take down his ministry. So he starts doing a bad thing to prevent that. And he knows it's bad, but he justifies it on the grounds that anything he has to do to preserve his ministry is justified. Now, he's a very interesting character. He's not like other bad ministers in other movies. For instance, there was Reverend Harry Powell in Night of the Hunter, starring Robert Mitchum. And that character was absolutely demonic. I mean, he did not have a sincere bone in his body. He was a complete charlatan. He was just pretending to be a minister in order to further his criminal aims. And he was just devoid of any humanity whatsoever. Now, that is definitely not true of Reverend Case Jones. I mean, he does have faith, and he does have the motivation to want to help people, to want to be a force of good in their lives, and to help them cope with the issues and problems that they're having, and to instill faith in them. He's very sincere about that. He's just doing a bad thing because of this problem. And to a great extent, it was taken from real life. I'm sure you know about Woody Allen. You know that he was accused by his adopted daughter, Dylan Farrow, of having molested her when she was a little girl. And supporting her in that accusation is her mother, Mia Farrow, and also her brother, Ronan Farrow. But the fact is that the case was investigated by 2 law enforcements in 2 states, one in New York and the other in Connecticut. And in both cases, they refused to file any charges against Woody Allen. And they raised questions about the credibility of Dylan Farrow, particularly in Connecticut. So the question is, who do you believe? Do you believe her, or do you believe Woody Allen that he did no such thing? And the same question is going to be put before you in this case, in this movie. Do you think that Reverend Case Jones really did the bad thing he's accused of? Or is he more of a tragic character than an evil one? So if you watch the film, I hope you'll come back here and leave a comment and give me your assessment of Reverend Case Jones, whether you think he was just utterly bad or more tragic. I'd be very interested to know. Now, we did our best to stylize this movie like a film noir. You know, film noir, the classic crime stories from the 1940s and 50s, often featuring a private detective who is investigating something that just keeps getting bigger and darker the deeper he gets into it. And it's often just so bad and so dastardly that it changes his whole outlook on life, where it just changes his view of the world. And that happens in this story. Joe Haladin is a private investigator. He gets hired to check on the welfare of these two twin young women, 19 years old, who are mired in a religious cult, that of Reverend Case Jones, or at least that's what their aunt calls it. She says that it's a cult. And so Joe starts investigating it, and the deeper he goes, the more rattled he becomes, and by the end of the movie, he's a changed man. He's not the same man he was at the beginning. It's changed his outlook on himself, on his whole view of family. And it really is a profound change. Now, my favorite film noir is what they call a neo-noir, because it came along in 1974, and that is Chinatown, starring Jack Nicholson. And that, too, is about a private investigator, Jake Gittes. And it was the inspiration for my story, because in Chinatown, it was about two sisters who were also mother and daughter. And in my story, it's two sisters who are just twins. But it's a great film, and I took a lot of inspiration from it, even musically. For instance, in Chinatown, there's a beautiful love theme written by Jerry Goldsmith that features a solo trumpet. And so I was determined to get a trumpet for my musical piece that I called Joe's Tribulation. And the trumpetist I hired was from Mykolaiv, Ukraine. And this was 2022, right during the war. And Mykolaiv is just about 6 miles from Kherson, which was one of the hot spots in the fighting at the time. And the fighting was going on as he recorded the music in his home. He had a soundproof recording room, but he said the bombs were going off around him while he recorded his trumpet for my movie. So I think that's a very interesting development. We used quite a lot of subdued lighting in the film, because they did that in film noir to create the dark, eerie atmosphere. And they also used a lot of bright lighting at moments of surprise. Now, we don't really have any bright lighting, but we do have subdued lighting to create that effect. And I think that overall, we did a good job of creating the dark world effect of film noir. So that's another reason why I think it's an interesting film and one that's worth watching. And please, if you do watch it, please come back, leave a comment, especially about Reverend Case Jones and what your assessment is of him. Thank you very much.